to the stage and your screens, your host for this evening, Mr. Hayden T. It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to get things started on the Muftee Show tonight. It's time to put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to raise the curtain on the Muftee Show tonight. To introduce our guest stars, it's what I'm here to do, and it really makes me happy to introduce to you Emily Robinson, Rhonda Burchmore, and Dame Judi Dench! Why don't we get things started? Why don't you get things started? It's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, cabarational, Muftee-tational. This is what we call the Muftee Show! Kia ora. Hello, folks. My name is Hayden T, and I am your host here at the Muftee Show, coming to you from the Tea Hive. Or in actual reality, it's my grandmother's abandoned living room in rural New Zealand. I'm in the middle of nowhere with very little internet, but everything's okay. How is your isolation going? We have an amazing show planned for you tonight, whenever you happen to be watching this. We've got some special guests, we've got songs, we've got games. But first, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you my longtime collaborator, friend, and the original co-host and musical director of The Muftee Show with me back in 2003. Please welcome to your screens, Mr. Nigel Ubrihien. Hi, Nigel. Welcome to The Muftee Show.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? Although, my real question is, what the hell are you wearing?
Oh, this old thing.
Old,
yeah, very old. Look, this is what we call in the western suburbs of Melbourne. This is a flanny, and it's like
Flanny.
Flanny, as in like get your hands off my flanny, you mole, that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's always good to hear context. These are handed down from generation to generation, and many members of my family have been conceived and born, educated, and married in this shirt. So a lot of history.
Yes, I can smell the history through the Zoom call. Yes.
Yeah, I should wash it, really, shouldn't I?
You really should. It's a whole new look for you, Nigel. I'm not used to it, but I'm enjoying this ISO Nigel. This lumbersexual.
A bit burly. I'm going burly. But you, on the other hand,
Nigel, and burly may not be one of them until now.
Thank you. But you, on the other hand, look amazing. What are you? You're looking very dapper.
Stop it! Stop this whole thing. Stop it.
Oh, isolation's obviously working for you. What's going on?
Oh, look, I actually am loving isolation, to be completely honest. But it's been, I don't know, how would I describe this? It's been educational. For a start, I've been educating my little nephew. I've been homeschooling him. So last week, I'm about 98.26% sure I failed year 10 maths. Although judging by my results last week, my calculations could be way off.
Right.
And it's also a little educational for my mother.
How so?
Well, I needed a prescription for a certain thing. This episode is brought to you by Prep. And I called the doctor here to try and get a script. Of course, they couldn't see me because of lockdown, so they were going to call me at 3:45 p.m. At 3:40, I get a text message to my UK mobile saying, "We can't get hold of you. Can you please call us?" I couldn't call them because it was an 0800 number. So this was the solution. My mum called them at her house and put it on loudspeaker with her there, and had me on Facebook call on loudspeaker having this consultation with all of the personal questions, Nigel. All of them.
Right.
Sexual history, relationship history, sexual health history, every question you would not want to answer in front of your mum. At one point, the doctor said, "Hayden, are you sure you are happy doing this in front of your mother?" My mother yells out, "I'm a very open-minded mother." And lucky for that, quite frankly. And after all that, I didn't even get the script. I have to go in to get it next week.
Did she have any advice for you?
Oh, no.
I mean, since you heard it all, it's like, no.
We haven't spoken since for some reason. No, we haven't. Now, Nigel, I have a question for you, but I don't want you to answer it until the end of the episode. It's a quiz.
Okay.
You have an entire episode to come up with the answer. Your question this week is, if a male tiger and a female lion crossbreed is called a liger? What is the crossbreed of a male lion and a female tiger? Don't answer now. Just have a think.
It'll require a ponder.
Ponder away. You got the entire episode to ponder.
Okay.
But we can't ponder right now, Nige. You know why?
Why?
Because it's time for our first guest. First guest. Now, our first guest here is a YouTube sensation. She's a leading lady in New Zealand musical theatre. Please welcome to the Muftee Show, Emily Robinson.
Hi.
Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you coping in isolation?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I spend most of my time inside anyways, so it's not too different from normal.
Now, we met last year when we were doing Les Miserables together in Auckland at the Civic Theatre, it's my favourite theatre in the world. And I have to say, you are the most glorious eponyme. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that you are going to be an absolute star. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. You're humble, but you're also amazing on stage. Your voice is like gold, which everyone will hear very soon. And you're also just a genuine nice person. And I think that nice people are the ones that get rewarded in life. I firmly do believe that. When we were in Les Mis together, you discussed with me you were about to audition for Whopper. Talk me through that process. How did it go? For people who are going to be auditioning for drama schools out there.
So I decided I was going to audition for Whopper like midway through last year, just because it was my dream school and I'd wanted to go there since I was like 14. Anyway, but I just was like, okay, I'm just going to apply to Whopper. I'm not officially ready to leave home yet, but if I get into my dream school, I'll go. And then I went along and I did my first audition and it went pretty well. And then I got a call back.
What did you sing?
I sang, what did I sing? I sang Astonishing from Little Women and I sang Mr. Snow from Carousel. But I was auditioning for The Bachelor, which was a 3-year course, but they offered me the diploma, which is a 1-year course, and then from that you can re-audition to get into The Bachelor.
What were your initial thoughts when they offered you that? Your instinct, your gut?
Yeah, I was like, I was happy about it. I was like, I got in some way, like I got into my dream school. I was really happy about it, but I just wasn't really sure what to do. I was, I realized when they offered me it that it would be adding another year, which I couldn't.
That's now 4 years.
Yeah, so 4 years in total if I got into The Bachelor afterwards, but I couldn't really afford it, and I just wasn't really sure if it was the right thing to do or not. So yeah, then I reached out to you.
Do you remember the advice I gave?
I can't really remember. You said I should just give the industry a go. Yeah,
I as usual with me, it was long-winded, but that was exactly the crux of it. I just think that, as I said before, like, I think you're so amazing. I just think you'd learn much more on the job, even though I know it's a risk. But this is one of the reasons why I want to talk to, because I think this is inspiring. I want to talk to you about this today. So, you know, I said, and other people also said, don't do the bridging course. Take the risk, start auditioning. And I know you can't mention particular shows you auditioned for, but tell us how that taking the risk turned out for you.
I went to one audition and I booked it. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It was terrifying, and I never expected that. It was the weirdest thing in my life.
Now tell us all, because we love to get excited about this. Where were you when you got the call? Talk us through that moment when you were told you booked it.
Yeah, where was I? I was in my bedroom. I get so anxious about hearing news about things just because I want to be able to plan for the next thing. So I spent a lot of time in my room after I got back to the country, and I was just lying on my bed and I was really overanalyzing everything. Like, I was looking any information I could up about the show and just like overanalyzing everything. And then suddenly an email just came through and I was like, oh my God. And the first thing I went and did is I ran and told my mum, and it was great. And I loved it.
Honestly, hon, I could not think of anyone who deserves it more than you. I'm so glad you took that risk. I encourage other people out there to take the risk, because you're going to have an amazing career. And you know what? Stuff Whopper. When you first told me that they didn't offer you the 3 years, I was like, are they mad? I just didn't even comprehend the fact that they could potentially not. Oh, sorry. We've been interrupted because now it's time for...
I hope you brought a saucer because things are about to get sloppy. I hope you have a napkin because we're about to get wet. That's because it's time to spill the tea.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you 10 rapid-fire questions.
Okay.
I want you to answer the first thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
Yes.
Coffee or tea?
Tea. Yep.
Yes, right answer. If a biscuit falls on the floor, is that a squat?
Absolutely.
Yes. What is the soundtrack of your isolation?
My favourite murder, it's a podcast.
Who is the first person you will see when out of isolation?
Ben, my boyfriend. I miss him a lot.
Soon, my love, soon. Where is the first place you will go when out of isolation?
Sal's Pizza or Mex Cali Fresh. I miss that food.
Where in the world would your ideal isolation location be?
Honestly, New Zealand. I feel very safe here. Yeah.
It's very true. I tend to agree. Not to be smug and rub it into our international viewers, but you know, we like it here. If you were only allowed to take one musical to isolate with, what musical would that be?
Waitress. And I would spend all of the time working on my southern accent. Yep.
You would be the most glorious, Jenna. I can't wait to see that in your future. Now, what is your favourite isolation activity?
Reading or watching Mindhunter.
What would the name of your personal lipstick colour be?
Very, very anxious.
Very, very anxious. I love that. I may steal that if you don't mind. Now, what advice would you give the year 2019 about the year ahead?
Watch out.
Thank you so much for being our first ever guest on the Muftee Reboot. It is so wonderful to see you. I adore you. I'm so proud of you. I love you to bits. Now, to say thank you, we have a little gift for you here today, because now it is time for...
It's not what you expected, but it's time that you collected a special gift from me. You're about to get teabagged.
Now, just like the Easter show, my love, when we were young and we go to the Easter show and you get a show bag, you come to the Tea Hive to the Muftee Show and you get a tea bag. Inside here is a gift for you to thank you for being a guest tonight. So I'm just going to pass that over to you. There you go. And what's inside?
Oh my goodness. This is
I knew exactly what you wanted.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel so fabulous.
Thank you so much for being here today. Now, you're going to perform a song for us, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, it is my absolute pleasure and joy to introduce to you the beautiful song stylings of the wonderful Emily Robertson singing They Just Keep Moving the Line from Smashed. Thank you, my love.
Thank you.
Take it away.
The field was bright with clover. I saw the finish sign. I started as a rover and then victory was mine. I thought the race was over, but they just keep moving the line. They cheered at my persistence, but prayed for my decline. The path of least resistance led to Hollywood and Vine. I tried to go the distance, but they just keep moving the line. I jumped all of the hurdles to break out of the pack. I started on the outside and then hit the inside track. I left the other fillies back at the starting gate. Was ready on my mark. I got to set to hurry up and wait. So talent and ambition won me a chance to shine. I aced the big audition, but it's raining on cloud nine. Can't beat the competition, 'cause they just keep moving the line. I handled every corner, each bump along the track. And when I saw the ribbon, well, there was no turning back. I won the photo finish. I posed 'cause they just keep moving the line.
Folks, that was Emily Robinson. Isn't she just divine? I told you would love her. T-mail, rabbit in my inbox, T-mail. Well, we have a T-mail here today, Nigel, from Mr. Andrew Conahan.
Wow, he sounds nice.
He does sound nice, doesn't he? He sounds fit. Dear T-mail, I would love it if Nige and Hayden could dream cast the 3 principal roles and a director for Tiger King the musical.
Ah, well.
Have you seen
Very
Tiger
nice.
King?
I've seen the first episode and a part of the second. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot. Look,
Yeah.
I loved it. I was obsessed. I binged it, the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've actually,
Yeah.
look, I hate to say it, I've actually already thought about this with a couple of friends as it is. I've kind of been discussing it online. I mean, did you see that Andrew Lipper actually wrote a song
I
for
did.
Carol Baskin and got
That's
Kristen
right.
Chenoweth to sing it?
Yeah, I did see that. What do you think of it?
I don't
It's
know
good?
if I would cast Kristen Chenoweth. Would you?
No,
I love
no.
her.
It's got a kind of drive, I guess, but yeah. What,
She
who would you
definitely has
cast?
drive.
Who would you
Look,
cast?
I was thinking, look, I've only got one option in my mind for Carol Baskin. Alice Ripley.
Oh, I thought it was you. Oh, okay. Yes, that should be amazing.
Look, she could do like what she did with Next to Normal, where like,
Yes,
you
she
watch
was
the show
wonderful.
and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a Sondheim score, and then you actually read the score and realize that no, she was just a little pitchy, and that was kind of what made it a little bit atonal. She could do the same thing. She could do the same thing to Carol Baskin. It kind of elevates it into a whole other place.
No, yeah, exactly. Who else have you got in mind?
I would love to see. I mean, who else in the world, quite possibly, as Joe Exotic, other than Tim Minchin? Maybe Christian Ball, but Tim Minchin is my pick for Joe
Oh,
Exotic.
Tim Minchin would be fabulous.
It'd be outrageous because it
It
needs
would
to
be.
have a good old element of fabulous in there.
And
Doc Antle, Trevor Ashley.
oh yeah. I mean, I'd sort of pay to see Trashy do all 3 of them.
Actually,
Although, that's probably a very different film. Yeah, probably.
I love it because Trevor's, so obviously gay and camp, and yet Doc Antle has this harem of women. I think it'd kind of be perfect.
It would be
I'm
kind of
there for
interesting,
it.
wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. Who do you think should direct it?
I wouldn't mind seeing a Tarantino version of it. That would be sort of to really sort of get the blood and the gore and a little bit of like a 60s sort of soundtrack going on. That could be fun. Or
For all of you at home, you can send in your T-mail questions. You can tweet them to me at Hayden T. That's at HAYDENTEE. Send your T-mail questions in, and Nigel and I will sit here in the Tea Hive and in our flannel shirts and answer your questions. At this moment in the show, we're going to do a makeup music video. I have lots of makeup music videos planned for future episodes, but for now, here is one from the vault that I think fits going a little bit loco in isolation. I hope you enjoy.
When you were here before, couldn't look you in the eye. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather in a beautiful world. I wish I was special. You're so fucking special, but I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't care if it hurts. I want to have control. I want the perfect body. I want the perfect soul. I want you to notice when I'm not around. I wish I was special. You're so fucking special. But I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. Oh. Every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Every single day, every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you. I'll be watching you. Whatever makes you happy, whatever you want, you're so fucking special. I wish I was special, but I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong here. I don't belong here. I don't belong here. I'll be watching you. I'll be watching.
Oh, sorry, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between. We interrupt your broadcast because we have breaking news. It is time for a TSA. That is a quarantine service announcement. Handing over to our non-roaming reporter, Mardge, who is there on not on location, in isolation. Mardge, how are you?
Oh, hello, Hayden Pet. How are you? You coping with the lockdown? Oh, God. I'm about sick of it, to tell you that much. I've just up here in my caravan, touched up a few of my crochet spots, out in the bush, away from everybody. But there are my neighbours. My neighbours are pissing me off, so I've got a little handy hint for you. Do you know what you need? Voodoo dolls. I made this one. This is about of my neighbour Barry in the caravan just next door. Now, he's really pissing me off. He's been a bit randy, so I've popped a couple down here in his groin. Oh! But if you're looking for something a little bit more deadly, you can go for the heart or straight into the brain for an aneurysm. Isn't that delightful? Now, stay tuned for more handy hints. Quarantine essays. I came up with that. Terrible. Oh. Bye-bye.
Second guess, second guess, second guess. Ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, I am honoured to introduce to you my next guest on the Muftee reboot. Please welcome to your screens and to my grandmother's living room. Please put your hands together at home for the wonderful Rhonda Burchmore.
Yeah!
We first met back in, I think, 2004 it was, at the Premier's concert in the Entertainment Centre in Sydney. And I just have to say, while I have this opportunity, that first time meeting you and every single time since then has been a joy, because you're so professional, you're so authentic, you're so gracious, and you're so generous of spirit. And I really learned a lot from you that day, and I carry that with me still. Because you've worked with some legends of the industry, to name a couple, Ann Miller and Mickey Rooney. What kind of things did you learn from them? You know, maybe some to-dos and even some what not to-dos.
Yeah, Anne was a diva, but she was the most professional person in terms of, taught me a lot in terms of, she would get to the theatre at 5 o'clock. We were down there at the Savoy Theatre just off the Strand, and she'd get there at 5 o'clock and she'd start putting, you know, she actually, before she started getting dressed, she'd go on the stage, Hayden, and she'd actually put little pieces of tissue. She didn't speak because she was, you know, reserving a voice. Anything that was like to cause her any problem with her tap dancing, if there was a nail or was there a bobby pin, she would mark the stage out, and the pity helped the poor old crew if there was anything left that because she was at a certain age, she was well in her 70s, and but just in, and then she would do her warm up, and then the time, I mean, it was a 3-hour thing for her to prepare for her performance. And whereas Mickey, on the other hand, would walk in at the half hour in the same gear that he'd go home in his costume because he didn't want to ever meet the fans. So, and he'd come back.
He'd go home in his costume?
Yeah, he was the absolute opposite to Anne in terms of when that last curtain would bounce, he would be out with a car waiting, so that he didn't like meeting the people. So yeah, they were like, yeah, apples and oranges pretty much. But I did learn a lot from both of them. I mean, Mickey as an artist, I mean, the comic timing, genius, and Anne as a tap dancer and as good old, you know, showbiz triple threat, she was sensational.
Now, recently you just spent a little bit of time in the jungle, in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, the Australian version. I have to say, I was in Manila on tour where I couldn't view it, but every single episode I would go on and watch all of the YouTube clips. And knowing you, I knew that from the second you went in there, and I mean, people in Australia already know who you are anyway and love you, but that generosity and of spirit and graciousness that I mentioned before was going to make the entire country fall in love with you, which they did. You came third.
Yeah, I was absolutely overwhelmed, Hayden. It was just, I mean, I had the incredible Lara leading the campaign. You know, our theatre community is quite small compared to, I know it's a celebrity show, but I mean, Charlotte had something like, you know, 8.5 million followers. I mean, to read some of the messages and to see the love from everyone from Trevor to Courtney to Lara to Anthony, like there was so many. It was just amazing. And
when you first exited the jungle on the show in the finale, your husband Nicholas was there with your daughter, and you mentioned how it's the first time he had been publicly appearing in media, I guess, as your husband, and it was quite an amazing moment to watch. Would you mind talking us through that?
Well, my husband, for those who may not know, is a psychiatrist, and he deals with a lot of, and especially in these times, to really, really heavy-duty, you know, people's issues. And we've only got the one child, Lexi. When she was born, she goes by my married name, which is very different to Burchmore. He was quite concerned about, you know, letting, you know, the public know about him and the relation between, you know, the psychiatrist and me and my daughter. Because so it was basically, that stemmed from his protection of our girl growing up, and now she's all grown up, and all these years later, I could not believe when he put his face up. You know, we've been asked from so many magazines, television shows, even on my This Is Your Life. He didn't show his face, so it was a big deal, Hayden. Yeah.
Oh, it was beautiful. I loved your reaction that your infectious positive attitude, because that rubs off on every single thing. Oh, sorry, we've been interrupted.
What?
I hope you brought a saucer because things are about to get sloppy. I hope you have a napkin because we're about to get wet. That's because it's time to spill the tea.
Okay, let's start. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Correct answer. If a biscuit falls on the floor, is that a squat?
Oh, I'd only squat for something decent. It wouldn't want to be just a Scotch finger or something. It'd have to be
What is the soundtrack of your isolation?
lately it's been Adele. I love her voice, and I don't think you can ever get so much, too much of Adele, from the big ballads to the really intimate, someone like you, and those kind of, beautiful.
Who is the first person you will see as soon as you leave isolation?
I'd be getting on a plane to see my Lala for sure.
Oh, yes.
Lala.
And give Lara my love. Where is the first place? Well, you kind of already answered it. Where is the first place you will go as soon as you're out of isolation?
I don't know how long it's going to be before we can get to a theatre, but get to somewhere where I can see some live entertainment and real people rather than just playing with my girls.
Oh, no. I'm there. I want to come with you. Please, please, please take me. Where in the world would be your ideal isolation location?
One of the most magical places in the world I've ever been is the Seychelles, off Africa. The most pristine blue aqua and white sand. Yeah, coconuts, turtles, fish. Yeah, magnificent.
If you were allowed to take one musical to isolation, what musical would that be?
Oh, it's something I've always wanted to do. It would be Sunset Boulevard. I'm determined, even if I do it from the island, I want to play Norma Desmond one before I cark it. You can play my beautiful boy.
What's getting you through isolation?
Well, there's two things, Hayde. I've got my beautiful dogs, my fur babies, walking. I'm walking a couple of hours a day. And excuse me, I'm also doing a mosaic. Meters and meters of glass work like an artwork.
Thank you so much for being a guest on the Muftee Show. Now, all of our guests, we get a little gift. So this is time for.
It's not what you expected, but it's time that you collected a special gift from me. You're about to get teabagged.
Thank you so much for coming. I have prepared a little gift in a bag here for you, in a tea bag. You're about to get tea bagged, as you know. I'm just going to pass it over to you. Have you got that there?
Woo! And look, I'm going to get...
there we go. You got it?
Oh, my God.
Amazing.
Oh, thank you.
What have I gotten you today?
Oh, here she comes. It just happens to be COVID Barbie. Oh,
it's COVID Barbie. Would you mind if we had a little look at your Barbie collection?
Oh,
I'm
sure.
such a Barbie doll fan. Look at that one there with oh my Lord.
Which one are you looking at? There's
go down, the one with the kind of like the butterfly. Oh, look, is that Lucille Ball with the moon?
And look at this. This is my own Rhonda Barbie. Look, from Mamma Mia. Whoa. There she
You
is
have
in
your
my
own Rhonda Barbie?
Yeah, Super Trooper in my platform boots.
I tell you what, I could lose, that would be me set for isolation, just these Barbies. Now, I have to say, I'm so, so grateful for you coming onto the show. Thank you very much. You're going to perform a song for us now, I believe. Ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the beautiful song stylings of the wonderful Rhonda Burchmore with What a Difference a Day Makes.
What a difference a day makes. 24 little hours brought the sun and the flowers were blue, dear. Today I'm part of you, dear. My lonely nights are through, dear. Since you said you were mine, what a difference a day makes. There's a rainbow before me, skies above can't be stormy. Since that moment of bliss, your thrilling kiss, it's heaven when you find romance on your menu. What a difference a day makes, and that difference is you.
She's just extraordinary. I love you to bits, Rhonda. Thank you so much for doing the show. I really appreciate it. Judi, 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 Judi! Our wonderful regular guest here, Dame Judi Dench. Now, Judi, I have only one question for you. Why? Why did you make that film? I mean, I've been in Cats on stage, and I was incredibly baked when I watched it, and I still found myself asking why. Thank you so much for our wonderful special guest, Dame Judi Dench. Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. I want to thank a few people. Thank you to Ryan Gray-McCoy, Tom Grut, Mardge, our wonderful special guests, Emily Robinson and Rhonda Burchmore, and last but not least, our musical director and my co-host for the Muftee Show, Mr. Nigel Ubrihien.
Thank you.
Hi, Nigel. Have you been thinking about the question? Let me remind you. The question is, if a male tiger and a female lion crossbreed, it is called a liger. What is it called if you crossbreed a male lion and a female tiger? Nice.
I have been thinking about this, and as you know, any kind of heterosexual activity kind of freaks me out. So look, I'm going to say it's some kind of crime against nature, but look, there's probably a shorter word for it.
Yeah, that flannel's a crime against nature, but that's a whole other story. The answer is, believe it or not, a tigon.
Oh, yeah, that's the one. That's what I meant.
That's what you meant. That's exactly what you meant. Look, thank you so much for this week's episode. We will see you here next week. Nigel, we have a little song to take everyone away, don't we?
We do.
Puncture you upon my knee, just T for two and two for tea. Me for you and you for me alone. Nobody near us to see us or hear us, no friend or relation. We're in isolation. We won't have it known that we have Zoom on our phone. Dear, day will break and I'll awake and start to bake a sugar cake for all the boys to see. We will raise a family, a boy for you and a boy for me. Oh, can't you see how happy we will be? Goodbye, ka kite anō. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Later, cuz!
Whoop.